Hi there, Jay. I'm happy to see that you've written more essays. Good work. Let's get right into this. See what you had to say. The bar chart illustrates the number of young people who prefer to watch 6 different film genres, namely action, animation, comedy, drama, horror, and romantic, split by gender groups. Fine. Overall, it is clear that comedy is the most popular genre for both genders. Perfect. It is also noticeable that the gap between the two groups is the largest in romantic movies. Okay. Looking at male adults, we can see that the most preferred movie types are comedy and action at 145 and 137 respectively. This is, let me see that again, male adults. Okay, so you decided to start with the men. Okay, let's see. Okay, fine. This is followed by horror at 73. Animation and drama are the joint fourth. Okay, it's a little weird, but it's all right. I'm not really crazy about this expression of the joint fourth. How about share the spot at fourth? I don't know, something like that, but I don't know about joint fourth. Okay, well, romantic has almost half of this number at 31, which makes it the least favorite among all. Perfect. Regarding female adults, comedy has by far the largest figure at 137. Okay. Which is followed by romantic movies at 116. Drama and action have similar figures at 86 and 82 respectively. Horror stands at 64, which makes it the second least favorite. The lowest number of females, 54, prefer to watch animation. Okay, yeah, it's accurate. It's you've covered all the points, you've covered all the categories. I mean, you've done it appropriately. The only thing that maybe, now remember we were talking about the difference between a good score and a really good score, okay? Because this is good. This would get a good score overall. Maybe if you had somehow, let me tell you a couple things first before I get to that. Okay, this is perfect. You had the introduction. Perfect. You had the overview. And then you decided to talk about the men first, and then you decided to talk about the women second. So all that was appropriate, and it made it really clear, really easy to read. The one thing that you could have done, and this is what I want to say, was maybe in talking about the women's figures, maybe you could have referred back to the men. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's see. Okay, so let me explain to you what I mean. You've already explained this, you've already explained that this was the biggest gap. But for example, like when you talked about the romantic movies, you never said that women outnumber men in this category by like 4-1, or you could have also mentioned here when you talked about drama and you talked about the women's numbers, you could have mentioned that this is the other category where women outnumber men. So, like I said, this is really making the difference between a well-developed and a really well-developed answer. Because I think that would have made some of this more meaningful. But it's great overall. Okay, you've done a nice job. It's just that sometimes, like when I read these, even though they are great, I kind of feel like, okay, well, what's the takeaway? What's the connection? I mean, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's take a look at your second essay. Here it is. It's, okay, travel. Both domestic and international, advantages and disadvantages. Discuss the advantages. Okay. The growing number of domestic and international travels has become a contentious issue over the past few years. This essay will argue that while traveling can increase cultural understanding, it can also lead to discomfort because of some travelers' disregard for the host city country. Lovely. Most people believe that the best way of eliminating cultural biases and prejudices towards certain people is visiting their city or country and spending a certain amount of time with locals. This is because one of the most effective ways of breaking down barriers and enhancing mutual understanding is meeting local people and witnessing their way of life and cultural practices firsthand. For example, a study run by Travel Magazine reveals that 7 out of 10 people who had some racial and cultural biases towards China changed their perspective after visiting Beijing. Therefore, It can be suggested that traveling can help individuals broaden their horizons, plural horizons. They don't have just one horizon, right? And appreciate the cultural diversity in our world more. Lovely, beautiful. No comments other than that. Nevertheless, it is argued by some that traveling can have some negative effects. This is largely due to the fact that some visitors can be insensitive towards the local residents' sacred places. For example, a study conducted by Deakin University demonstrates that more than 70% of the visitors visiting Uluru attempt. Here you want attempt. Why? Because 70% of the visitors, you have to take this as, how can I explain this? Okay, 70% of the visitors, it's something countable. Visitors are countable. Whereas if you had said like 70% of the pizza was eaten, it's not something that you can make plural. It's just one pizza. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so which is a sacred rock for the indigenous people. You don't need to capitalize indigenous. This situation causes discomfort, even resentment, not resentfulness, even resentment towards travelers in that area. It is also known that some visitors leave their destinations without taking their rubbish with them. For example, recently the residents of Madrid have launched a petition in order to limit the number of local and foreign tourists in their city. Therefore, it can be concluded that traveling can have negative effects, I guess, because of the cultural insensitivity and disrespect shown to local people. Beautiful. Really nice. I think there was one thing that I wanted to mention. Okay, here it is. This is not really connected with this. Okay, so look at this. You say that they leave destinations without taking their rubbish, and then you say, for example, Madrid has launched a petition to limit the numbers. Those aren't related. Okay, so if you had told me that one of the reasons why they've launched this petition is because of the rubbish left by visitors, and I would say, yeah, okay. But this on its own does not sound like an example for this. Okay? Let's see. So yeah, you needed to rephrase one of these two sentences, or perhaps both of them, to make them better connected to each other. All right, let's go to your conclusion, and then we're done. In conclusion, while visiting different destinations can assist people in stripping off their stereotypical views, it can also have some ramifications for local people when they are disrespected. All right, it's lovely. Jaye, you've done a really good job with both these essays. I really liked the fact that, for example, here you had a really clear topic sentence. Everything was well organized. It was really, really well done. Just be careful. Make sure that, like I said before, your main ideas and your examples actually support each other and they actually belong to each other, okay? But this is a really well done essay. So now you just need to correct them, return them back to us, and write your new essays. Good luck with all of that. Looking forward to seeing what you write next time.